Frozen 2 is the sequel to the incredibly popular Frozen that came out all the way back in 2013. Elsa, Anna, Kristoff, Olaf the Snowman, and Sven the Reindeer are back, and this time a secret from the past and a mysterious voice calling her draws Elsa towards the origin of her powers, while also setting in motion a set of events that could threaten the kingdom of Arendelle itself. The first Frozen was okay. It looked great, the music was great, even though by being overplayed to the point of annoyance, it tends to make people forget that fact. The characters were just okay and nowhere near Disney's strongest, and the plot was pretty much a mess because instead of trying to actually make it into a fairy tale, they wanted to make it about the relationship between the two sisters, and even if that idea didn't fit in with the Ice Queen story, the filmmakers just crammed it in anyway. Though that being the case, it wasn't nearly as bad as it could have been. This time around, the plot is a little better, but still very messy. The problem continues to be the two sisters. Look, I know how much everyone loves how much these two guys love each other, but if you took out all the scenes of them expressing that fact to each other very, very emphatically, the film would probably be like 45 minutes long. Scenes of Anna and Elsa hugging or worrying about each other or reassuring each other just go on, and the plot seems to just take a back seat to that. I have to do this alone. You don't have to do this alone, but I have the powers, but the real power is love. We're sisters. How could you lie to me? I didn't want to worry you. I can't believe she did that. I don't want to risk your life, Anna. Guys, just shut up. Look, I know that we've entered into a new stage of Disney animation where they like to poke fun at the tropes of classic fairy tale stories that were supposed to act as allegories, the plots of which weren't meant to be taken too seriously and were primarily emotion driven, but can't we just cool it with the self-referential jokes? It's wearing very thin. The first Frozen was bad enough with the "it's so unrealistic that she would fall in love with him and want to get married after only knowing him for one day. Like, what is this, some kind of fantasy story with a heightened reality and big emotions?" But Frozen 2 doubles down by making the exact same jokes about the events that happened at the beginning of the first film. There are also times when the film uses humour to mask the fact that they are very bluntly revealing important plot information and foreshadowing that makes what's going to happen at the end very obvious. Contemporary Disney's villain problem continues with this film. There is no actual villain, with the closest comparison being the supposed antagonist from Moana, but mostly the situation acts as the antagonist rather than any one person. The music's not as good or as memorable as the first film, but that's only after one viewing, mind you, but it is absolutely worthy of the reputation of the first film because once again, the songs are very good. Well, most of them are. Elsa's are of course the best, they're the biggest, they're the most powerful, and that Adele Dazeem really can sing. Her first song actually seems like a musical reference to the risk of doing a sequel to such a popular movie. It's all about, do I dare go on another adventure? It could ruin things. This is the first time that Disney has put out a sequel to one of their animated fairy tales that wasn't a straight-to-home video cash grab, so there's a meta element to the music that I liked. Then another song is about how things do change, but the big important stuff will remain constant, which leaves little doubt as to how the film is going to end. The plot has some similar elements to Maleficent 2, with the kingdom and the enchanted forest being at odds with each other, and its ending is just like Thor Ragnarok without the follow-through. The visuals and the animation are as good as the first film, and it seems to be set in autumn time, which allows for a nice variety of colours, but I have to admit that I missed the more winter-focused aesthetic of the first film. The most beautiful scenes are when Elsa's alone, using her powers, usually at night, during a song. It's really good stuff, and there's a nice simplicity to it. Character motivation is a problem. Both sisters are pretty happy and like how things are going with the kingdom and their personal relationships until Elsa starts to get drawn towards a mysterious magical calling, which, like the first film, puts the kingdom in danger, and here's where my first problem comes up. It's a literal call that she hears that draws her. Her Into the Unknown song treats it like a metaphor for a yearning that she feels inside or something, but that's not what it is. We never get any indication other than this literal voice that she hears to tell us that she's dissatisfied or wants something she doesn't have or yearns for something just from her nature. In the first film, she wanted to be able to embrace her powers and be who she really is, hence Let It Go. But here she wants to find out what this song she keeps hearing is all about. Her song questions should she take this risk and go into the unknown, which implies that that's exactly what she wants to do, but her reason isn't good or interesting enough. Later on she realises that she's finding herself again, but she didn't know that's what she was setting out to do. Anna is there to try to help, but mostly needlessly and stupidly puts herself in danger, and she wants to, like, support her sister or something, but ends up being the Skylar White of this whole thing, and just becomes the one who whines and emotionally berates Elsa when she wants to do something that would actually be interesting for the audience to watch, which is really annoying. Elsa's just going around trying to get shit done and solve the many mysteries, and Anna just keeps whining about how she's doing it wrong and how she feels about it.
She needs to sort out her priorities.
Kristoff just wants to propose to Anna, and that works pretty well as a side plot. It has a lot of humour when he constantly fails to get the job done, and it makes it even funnier that it's Holden Ford doing his voice. But it doesn't help that these two animated characters still have no chemistry to speak of. And Olaf keeps going on about how he'll understand the world and everything will make sense when he's older. Which is weird because he's a snowman and it doesn't really go anywhere. There's also a mystery about what this voice Elsa hears is. A mystery about what happened between Arendelle and the Forest People years ago. A mystery about her parents. A mystery about these elemental spirits with the old earth, water, fire and air cliche, which, especially after the last Airbender, needs to go away for a little while. Like I said, the plot is a bit of a mess and Anna gets way too much screen time, so that anytime there's a song, it's like a breath of fresh air, unless it's Anna singing it. The songs are really good and they work as songs with a message. They're metaphorical, but I don't think that they match what's happening in the story well enough. Good musical moments advance the story and let the audience know what the characters are feeling, and these do that, but I wanted the non-musical parts to do that a bit too, obviously in a more subtle way. And they didn't work for me, just like they didn't work in the first Frozen. In the prologue to the film, there's a pretty good backstory setting up the plot, and it helps that it's voiced by Alfred Molina, because damn, that guy's got a great voice. And there's yet another mystery about Anna and Elsa's father, and who maybe saved his life, and what that person becomes later, and all that business sounded far more interesting, and as a romance, would have worked really well as a story on its own. I'm going to give Frozen 2 a B- for the animation and the overall look of the film, and for the music, which is mostly good, even though the voice that Elsa hears sounds strangely like the theme from the Arnold Schwarzenegger classic End of Days. Not to sound like some kind of crazy conspiracy theorist, but I think that this much is clear. Disney, through Frozen 2, is trying to convince our children to worship the Dark Lord, that's right, Satan himself. No one is safe, it's time to take to the streets and protest for the good of all and the souls of the innocent. Or it's just a coincidence, but seriously, how likely is that? I just find myself not really connecting to these characters. When I watch other better Disney films, I usually know by the midpoint what I hope will happen at the end. I hope Aladdin frees the genie, wouldn't that be great? I hope Rapunzel discovers who she really is and reunites with her parents, that would make her so happy. I hope the Beast is freed from his curse. I hope Cinderella escapes her terrible situation. I hope Arendelle doesn't get destroyed. Wait, I don't care about Arendelle. I hope Elsa and Anna have a good relationship by the end. What? I'm not saying make it predictable. I'm saying make me care about these characters, because I just don't. I just think that they're kind of pleasant enough. Thank you very much for watching my review. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. Let me know if you've seen Frozen 2, what you thought of it, liked it, disliked it, agree or disagree with any of my points, or if you have any points of your own. I'll be back soon with more reviews, and I will see you then. So sorry for the long delay between the last video and this one. Big life-changing circumstances. I'm in a whole new place. Obviously, the background's different. I don't have my suits anymore, and isn't that so sad? And I feel very underdressed, but hopefully I'll remedy that situation soon. It'll probably only be the one type of suit, so you know, forget that whole different suits on each video thing. It's just not feasible anymore. And sometimes you may hear kind of like a buzzing in the background, because this is a very hot place and I might have to have the air conditioning on. So sorry for the poor sound quality, but you know, bear with me on that one.